Hello, survivors. Welcome back to Survive the Haunt. I'm your host, Austin, and let's get into it. So today's episode is going to be a little bit weird. We are not going to be having a movie today, but instead, I thought it would be fun to recap my weekend and do a Panic Fest rundown. So, for those who don't know, Panic Fest is the best horror convention in all of the Midwest. It takes place in Kansas City at Screenland Armor Theater, and I absolutely love Panic Fest. Everybody in the area or even out of the area needs to go to Panic Fest. It is so much fun. It is at this beautiful theater owned by a very, very, very lovely and kind man. It has food. I know you like food, but they also have a bar with like 24 different types of beer. And man, oh man, is it good. And it was pretty cheap, $15 a ticket, and then like $7 a beer for good beer. I I don't know who wouldn't want to do that. And you're watching horror movies with a bunch of people who also like horror movies, and you're able to meet really cool people. Like, how are you not sold already? So, like I said, this episode's going to be a little bit weird. Uh, we are going to be talking about some things that happened over this past weekend, some awesome and amazing and incredible things. So, firstly, I just wanted to say that I have been going to Panic Fest for 2 years now. I've known about it for 3 years. My first year doing really anything with it was the hybrid year where everything was online in 2021. But man, oh man, do I love Panic Fest. It is so much fun. So, how I'm going to talk about Panic Fest, I think I'm going to just go by day about what I did. And if this podcast episode doesn't really intrigue you, feel free to wait and get a next one. It's all good. Um, but seriously, if you're in the Kansas City area and you haven't been going to Panic Fest and you love horror movies, you are seriously missing out. Like next year, when it comes around time, a year from now, be there or be square. That's all I can say. So, first day, I will say that my reasoning for going to Panic Fest has always been to meet people. I love to meet new people. I love to meet like-minded individuals, and I love to meet filmmakers. And the way Panic Fest is set up is that it's a film festival, but you can submit your own films. So they're like amateur films. Some of them are short films, some of them are feature length, but you get to see somebody else's work and then meet and talk to the person. Like that's what I was doing all weekend. I was meeting new individuals, talking about their movie. I was talking about stuff that I've done, and it's just a fun networking weekend for people who like the same shit. And even this past Panic Fest, this past weekend, I met so many cool individuals. People who I hope to someday bring onto the pod. It's a little hint for the future. Some of them will be on the pod. And just, I really learned what is in my area of what I'm able to do with some free time. What I'm able to do with just some free time. Um, to start out, I did go to see one of my favorite podcasts, the Horror Virgin and Cult Podcast. Like that's always been my big sell, especially in the beginning, was to go see a live show with them. And man, those individuals are so much fun. Um, I'm jumping into the week, but one night on Saturday night, there was a karaoke in the bar that is on premises, a cool ass 1990s/80s video store retro bar. So much fun, so cool. There was a karaoke event downstairs, and I was able to talk to these filmmakers, talk to these other like-minded individuals, and sing karaoke and drink a little too much, but have so much fun. But to start out, two people that I met that has forever changed my life are two individuals named Joseph and Philip. They're from Sweden, and if you guys are on my Instagram, which if you're not, you need to follow Survive the Haunt at Instagram, you'll see me in a dead meat shirt because you know I love me some dead meat with two individuals giving a thumbs up, and they are from Sweden. These guys, I met them standing in line of all things, just standing there, and they started talking, and I thought I recognized some Swedish dialogue in there, and I was just like, "Hey, where are you guys from?" And they started talking to me about, "Oh, we're from Sweden," and I was like, "Oh, cool. What brings you here?" And they had this film showing, which was a wonderful film. When I'm able to, like when it's out of its circuit, I will post it. I've already talked to them about it. It is a beautifully shot short film with a perfect premise, and when I'm able to, I want to show it to people because I'm so enamored by how good it is that everybody has to see it for sure. But I met them and that was so much fun. That was literally just a whole weekend of meeting new people and talking about our shared experiences in film, even though they're filming in Sweden and I was filming in Hutchinson, Kansas. But being able to talk about funny things that happened on set that every filmmaker understands is just so much fun. And that's like also, I know I'm just gonna be like going back and forth of like going to be French kissing Panic Fest this whole episode, but that's what it's about. This is this episode. So once again, if you're not interested, get out of here. No, I'm kidding. Don't get out of here. But Panic Fest is all about meeting a filmmaker or somebody and just talking about shared experiences. It is a therapeutic and fun session with friends where you're able to go into a movie and sit there with people that you just met. And if this doesn't like sell it to you, I understand. But you're just able to enjoy horror movies with these people who also enjoy horror movies with a completely different background or just a different set of life experience. And it's just so much fun that that little thing, that little combination can bring people together because that's what it's all about. But also, like I said, my biggest reason for going to Panic Fest personally was to go see the Horror Virgin and Cole podcast. And I was so glad if you guys are on my Instagram once again, that's how I'm gonna do it, just scrolling through the Instagram. You see picture one is with me and uh the two podcasts because they had a show one right after another. And if you can spot it, I am holding a Fago box, which here's a little story behind that. I kept that box from last year because Armando Torres, the large, huh, big gentleman on the side, on the very left in the plaid, we're both plaid guys, cool as shit. But he, last year had never had that flavor of Fago, so then he passed them out to the audience. But then the box was empty. And he said, "Get rid of this box." He threw it, and it like hit me, and everybody like it, not like hard or anything, but it was just like funny that he threw that into the crowd, not thinking, and it hit me. So I kept it, and they signed it this year, and it was just like a little fun experience, a little nerdy, I know, but hey, I enjoyed it. I think it's so much fun. So, the one cool thing about Panic Fest too is it's so intimate. It is not like, "Don't talk to me, I need to go someplace else." It is you can stand there in line and just when you're waiting in line for the world's best beer, which I had, a white ale called The Ripple, it's a number 13 on their menu. You're just standing there in line waiting for your beer, and you can turn around and be like, "Hey, what movie you just get out of?" And you can have that fun conversation. And that idea of being so friendly and being for everybody starts at the owner. Picture two is this man named Tim. He's the founder of Panic Fest. As Tim and his friend Alan uh, founded the festival together, and you'll see them running around doing stuff, but they're always gonna ask, "Hey, how you doing? Uh, what's your name again? It's Austin, right?" And just things like that. Like they are so personable that they will be there to talk to you. And they're also cinema lovers too. It's not like they're gonna be like, "Oh, I've already seen this one." No, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you can sit by me. Let's watch this movie together." And they're like, "Yes." So it's just so much fun. It's that intimate friendship that you create in a weekend that even if you remain just Facebook friends or you see them on the street, you're able to like know this person likes horror movies too. Oh, in their area, let's go see this together. Because that's what I'm personally going to do. I met a lot of cool other podcasts in the Kansas City area that I personally want to work with in the future, and we're going to see some of that here pretty quick next couple of weeks. And it's just so much fun. I had a blast. And I'm going to keep saying that all the time, but I truly, truly did. But let's move on. So, third picture is probably one of the coolest. Like I think the next 3 or 4, yeah, the next 4 pictures is just gonna be me being a little fanboy nonstop. Because third picture, that is Spider One, the frontman for Powerman 5000, a singer and songwriter that I've loved for years. When Worlds Collide is actually one of my it's in my top 50 perfect songs to my own ear. But everybody who hasn't heard When Worlds Collide, you have to. Spider One has a brother, a little bit more famous, but equally as cool, named Rob Zombie. I think some of us might know who that is. He's pretty indie. I don't think anyone knows who Rob Zombie is. He's like the Beatles. He's pretty underground. You don't understand. But Spider One was so freaking cool. Talking to him of just being like, "Hey, I'm a fan of your music," and then he's being like, "Yeah, I love this," and then being able to talk to him about music and horror and how to the outside ear horror and heavier music seems like satanist or not like devilistic, but talking to Spider One about, hey, I like your music a lot, it means a lot to me, and then he's like, oh, thank you so much, him being so kind and genuine was so eye-opening and it was so awesome because in my head, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be there. I can't wait to walk up to him and be like, 'Hey, I'm a big fan. Can I take a picture?'" And he's like, "Yes," and then we go our separate ways. But no, I walked up, I'm like, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I just saw your guys' movie, and can I get a picture with you?" And then he says, "Yes." And then when I start to walk away, he says, "What are you seeing next?" "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna see that." What did you think about" and just, like, starting a conversation with somebody that I thought I would never be able to have was amazing and such a confidence building. I don't know how to explain confidence building, but such a confidence building exercise for myself of these people that I've always loved and like cherished being humans and actually having this shared interest. They say don't meet your heroes, and of course I understand how they say that because I'd imagine that not everybody's this cool. But it was so much fun and so cool to be able to meet him and his wife and their fan and see the human side of him instead of the music video. Let's see, David fucking Bowie, which was one of their songs. Um, let's see that side of him and see the more personal human side and the funny side. Everything like that was just so cool. But let's move on to the next one. So, picture four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, picture four. This was a surreal experience as well. For those who don't know who these people are, I tagged them, but this is Nightmare on Film Street podcast. This is John and Kim. Yeah, but yeah, that's John and Kim of uh, Nightmare on Film Street. They're so they Sorry, I keep choking over my words just because I'm so excited. But they were also so much fun to talk to. If you like this podcast, which it clearly you probably do because you are listening to it, but if you want another really good horror movie podcast that is even better than this one, and want to see like even personally who I'm inspired by, listen to Horror Virgin, listen to Cult Podcast, listen to Nightmare on Film Street. This is this is the reason why I started doing this is because I wanted to do what brought me joy and I love to listen to podcasts and audiobooks and read and things like that. So I decided, hey, I love listening to podcasts and I love what they're talking about. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm not doing it for any other monetary value or goal. I'm just doing it for myself. And talking to them throughout the whole entire week of once again meeting them first day and then having that human interaction throughout the week slash weekend more. I was able to ask some questions that were very, very helpful to me. I know in the past couple episodes the audio's been hit and miss, but I'm just figuring this shit out and I didn't know who to ask. But talking to them was eye opening of, hey, this sounds good. This is what you should do to make it sound better. So in the next couple of episodes, I'm still figuring this out. I know, please, it's growing pains for all of us, but hopefully the production should go up and up and up because I was able to have this conversation with somebody who I model not not model myself after, but who I look towards for good content and hearing them tell me some good things about how to grow an audience or how to make it sound better or just things like that was so much fun and I'm so thankful to have been able to talk to them and as you can tell John has quite the beard that even dwarfs my beard and having a really funny experience with him of both of us trying to eat food and then being just absolutely covered in our food around our mouths because of our beards. So it's just like such a fun and human interaction. And they come every single year. So if you're also a fan, next usually I think it'll be in June or May or maybe even earlier. Come to Kansas City. I will be there. And if you're family or friends or just anybody, if you're a listener who I don't know yet, hopefully by then this podcast can sound a little bit better, but I'll be there. I will love to meet up, talk. If you're a little nervous, I will happily introduce you around. Uh the funny thing about the Swedes, the funny thing about the Swedes that was all weekend is here in the States everyone knows that we're loud and we're upfront and we're like us, let's just talk, talk, talk. But the Swedes are very like laid back and they are reserved. So it was me like, hey, I'm a big fan, and these are my two friends, CJ and Joseph. They're from Sweden. They're never gonna tell you, but they're big fans too. So it's like kind of like being their little tour guide because they're like just quieter because they're more respectful than we are here in the States. But I always thought that was really funny. But yeah, next year if anyone wants to come with me even, I'll happily bring you along and show you around. I feel obligated because I'm such a big fan of Panic Fest and being around here for so long now and loving it and understanding how it is to help other people learn about it or be a guide to it because I know that if I could walk away a better person and love horror movies much more. And if you love horror movies, let me bring you to this where you're going to be surrounded by people who love you and will embrace you and not judge you because that is Panic Fest. It is a judgment-free zone where you can go up front and you can make a really 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 terrible Dracula impression like I tried, but I was too scared to do it the first day. Or go down to see Nightmare Junkhead, another awesome podcast, and you're dancing in front of everybody, choreograph, doing a little dance off for prizes. It's just so much fun, and everyone's having so much fun. And at the end of the day, everyone claps. Everyone's clapping, and they're like whistling and cheering because we love horror so much. But I got to keep going. I got to keep moving. This is gonna, like I said, this is gonna be a little shorter episode, but I needed to get something out. You guys deserved it. I deserve it. But at the end of this episode, we will talk about the schedule change coming up. Not change, but some moves. But we'll get back to that. Okay, so this next picture was one that I thought I would never be able to take. These next two, I will say. That is Barbara freaking Crampton, the one of the best scream queens in all of horror. She was in Reanimator, From Beyond, like we were able to see, and many other things. Now she's working with motherfucking Joe Lynch on a movie called Taste of Flesh. So, man, was this such a cool event. Like, she was so much fun. She was so nice, and she loves horror so much, and you can tell. And being able to be in the same room as her and talk to her was so much fun. And just another reason to go. I know. I'm selling. I hope I'm selling you. It's just another reason to go. But Barbara Crampton was so much fun. She had such a horror knowledge during her Q&A. She is such a fan of horror that she has like dedicated her life to it now. And has been forever. She's a literal scream queen. She was such a kind individual who Joe Lynch mentioned, which that's our next person we'll talk about, of course. But Joe Lynch mentioned that she's like, "Oh, I'd love to come to Panic Fest. Do they have wine?" And of course, Panic Fest, Screenland Armory has wine. But of course, if you don't drink alcoholic drinks or anything like that, they do have quite the selection of other drinks. But Barbara Crampton was so cool to talk to and be able to see From Beyond in 4K, like a high definition director's cut that has never been seen before, and being able to see it at Panic Fest with the woman. I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, I love this movie. And she's right there. She is right there. So it was just so much fun to meet Barbara Crampton. She was so kind, and she absolutely rules. And this last photo on the Instagram post that I am so excited to have done, you can see my genuine smile, and he made me laugh so hard, is motherfucking Joe Lynch. Joe Lynch is one of my favorite directors. He directed a film in 2016, 18 called Mayhem, starring Stephen Yeun of Glenn from The Walking Dead, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, he's worked many other things. He's making new stuff now. He's done Wrong Turn 2, which is my personal favorite. And he is an icon, and he is a horror director legend. And being able to talk to him and have, once again, a real conversation with him, not just, yeah, okay, see ya, next person up. It was a real conversation, and sing karaoke with the man, and then having him, this is a small, like, little giddy, little fanboy thing, is talking to him one day, and then him seeing me the next day and be like, "Oh, hey, Austin, how you doing?" Like, knowing who I was, and then asking me, "What are you seeing today? What did you think about last night?" Sorry, I bumped the mic stand. But just like being able to have a human conversation with him, and him being human, and was just amazing. And he's an ambassador for Panic Fest, so of course he'll be there. He'll always he'll come back. I hope someday he's able to bring in some other awesome and incredible people, because man, oh man, is it a who's who of horror that show up to things like this, being able to do really fun things. And it's, I say, let me check my privilege with this, but it's pretty cheap, and it's really fun. It's I spent around, actually I'm not going to tell you that because my mom listens to this and she's going to be really upset, but maybe if I didn't buy so much alcohol, that was so good. And the frickin' slushies, okay, I gotta take a step. They had frozen slushy, like alcoholic slushies, that were to die for. I'll tell a story about it after a little bit, but man, that, if you like fun, fun drinks. Oh, and here's another drink. We can take a little break. Um, I drank out of a blood bag an alcoholic drink, and it was so much fun. It was literally so much fun. Um, they they catered drinks to horror events and horror movies. It's like my first drink I had there was the Necronomicon. It was a lovely gin and juice style drink that was so good. But that we need to stop talking about alcohol, man. I need to cut back. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But anyways, Joe Lynch, man. Joe fucking Lynch. So glad I was able to talk to him. It is so incredible to be able to meet him and see a real master at work. Like talking to him or being around just his presence of this friendly man who cares about people and cares about horror, to where um meeting him outside of a firstly meeting him outside of a Walgreens because I needed an energy drink, and me just turn around and be like, "Hey, Joe Lynch, I'm a big fan," and then he is like, "Oh, hey, that's a sweet shirt. It's my Dead Meat shirt," and then him talking and just a little bit of I know might have been cutting into his personal time. I apologize if you're listening to this, but having a real human conversation with somebody that I look up to was motivating, and it makes me so bad. Um, we're gonna do this in the future, and I say we because you guys now, everyone who's listening, this is a part of my life. This is just a look inside of my life, and you will be along for the ride. I'm not going to keep secrets, but I'm going to make something really soon, and I'm going to send it in. Hopefully, I get into Panic Fest. Hopefully, I'm able to go around to other film festivals because a film fest is meeting people. It is having connections. I know when I go to Sweden, if I'm able to in the next, I don't know, couple of years, or even longer than that, I know for a fact that now, if I go to Sweden, I could call my friends and we will be able to hang out. We will catch up like nothing happened because we shared this event together. And even though we're far away from each other, we shared a love and we share a love for something. We enjoy making movies. So being able to talk, even I had a conversation with Joseph today. I was able to see their short film, which is incredible. It was amazing. And for this to be their first thing they ever made, it is so impressive because I've made some stinkers, and for them to never had make something before, but just being a fan and then making something that good was incredible. So if you guys are listening to it, both of you guys are listening to this, y'all guys, Yog Alskardu, I love you both. Um, in the next couple of weeks, I'd imagine, CJ was making a documentary about the whole trip. So if I get approval, I'll try and host it a little bit on my channel so you guys can see it, or I'll just link to it sometime so you can understand who these two Swedes from, or two Swedes that came to Kansas City are, because they were so much fun and so cool, such cool guys, and just another fun thing that happens at Panic Fest. So now I wanted to take a little break and talk about some of the movies I was able to see. I hinted already that I've seen From Beyond, starring Barbara Crampton, and man, oh man, was that good! It was a free new print. It was the 4K, first time ever being shown director's cut. It was amazing. If you've never seen From Beyond, it is a weird one, but man, is it horror and man, is it fun. I recommend it. You can watch it. I don't know where you can, but if you find it, watch it. I was also able to watch Renfield, the new Nick Cage movie that comes out, or that is out by now. But I saw an early screening of that, and man, was that so much fun. A packed theater watching a movie together that everyone was cheering. Yes, and it was like, to me, a heartwarming feeling of not being alone. I don't mean that like where I'm sad or anything, but being in a theater with 100 other people and we're watching Nicholas Holt rip arms off of dudes and throw an arm like a javelin and pin a guy to a wall and all those like really fun things, and Dracula slaughtering a group in a really fun and kick-ass way. And then having at the end of it everyone clapping and cheering, and I couldn't contain my laughter and my enjoyment too, so I found myself clapping and cheering too. It was just so much fun, and it was such a fun human experience that we were able to share together, that in the past couple of years, I feel like everyone has not been able to have. So once again, I'm selling it. Go to Panic Fest. My so I, as some of you know, I didn't go alone. I brought my twin brother. He and I have gone to this now 2 years in a row, and I think we'll always continue to go. I do feel bad, and I know for a fact that there are some times throughout the event where I'm just sitting around because I'm talking to people, and he'd rather be doing something else. So Addison, next time we go, I don't know, maybe drive yourself so you can do whatever you want whenever you want. But uh, I went with him, and we were both able to see the new Evil Dead movie about 2 weeks early. And man, oh man, was that a ride. Um, this is not going to be my official review of Evil Dead, but it was really good. It was really scary. Um, it's closer to the 2014 remake than it is like the original Evil Dead, but in all the right ways. Like it is still not bad. Um, that's really all I can say about it is it was good. I had fun, and of course, once again, me drinking the Necronomicon Evil Dead themed drink while watching Evil Dead 2 weeks early, being fortunate to do that was so much fun. And then getting a little video that played before from the director of Evil Dead talking a little bit. And let me go back to a little bit. They played a little bit of Adam McKay, who directed Renfield. They called him and they interviewed him, and a little video showed before. So it's like getting to see these cool directors, even though it was through a screen. Listening to them was really, really, really fun as well, and that's just another selling point for Panic Fest. Let's see, what else did I see? I saw plenty of wonderful, wonderful short films. That's what Addis and I personally like the most. We love the short film block because we're both indoctrinated by TikTok. So our 15 seconds, 30 seconds of media joy that switches every little bit, we're down for, we love. But I personally, you will catch me every time at the short blocks because there are, while I love horror movies, there are some that I don't enjoy. So I like the horror blocks specifically because I get a taste of everything. But that being said, of course, there are some times where I'm able to see something that I really do enjoy, like um, We Are Still Here at Barbara Crampton starring uh, Ted, got his name. I met him. That's unfortunate. But seeing a movie like that of We Are Still Here was fun, and it was really, really, really cool. Once again, being able to look up at the screen and see the beautiful Barbara Crampton and then look down and see, oh, she's right there. And she still is beautiful. And she was kind and awesome. Then what else did I see? Oh, last night, of course, I'm recording this one on a Tuesday. I usually record on Mondays, but it didn't work out. Last night, I went back to the festival. It's 10 days, and then they do a lot of stuff online. So if you're not from the Kansas City area and you still want to enjoy, you can buy a hybrid pass, like $100. You can watch a lot of stuff online, and I recommend doing that as well. I am able to watch both, some things online, some things in person, because I bought the hybrid pass. Technically, I didn't really buy it, but I acquired a hybrid pass. Keep that a secret between us. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but hey, you know how that goes. But last night I was able to watch Third Saturday in October Part 1. And the reason why I chose that is, once again, standing in line first day, turn around, I see a large, loud southern man, and I say, hello. He says, hello. And then that's when I meet a good man named Frank. And of course, then I'm able to meet everybody else in his group, Chris, who we will do something in the future with Chris. So keep his mind. Actually, I'll talk about it here in a little bit. But Frank was a really cool guy, being able to talk to another filmmaker friend, and then now we're birthday buddies, both May 7th. but being able to talk to somebody, even though he's twice my age, and I don't mean that in a weird sense or anything, but being able to talk to somebody with completely different life experience than me, but having a great time talking about horror movies and watching a movie, going outside, talking about it because there's like 30 minutes in between. Perfect time to grab a beer, grab some food, and just talk because that's what it's about. So meeting him and Chris and oh, I feel so bad. I forgot their cinematographer's name or director. I think he was the director. But being able to talk to them was so much fun because I was once again enjoying watch. It was like watching my friend's production. It was friends supporting friends, and I wanted to see it. I fell in love talking to these individuals, having a fun experience, seeing movies together. Then I'm like, no, I want to see what they're doing. I want to see theirs. What brought them here? What in the cards of fate was drawn to bring them to Southwest to Kansas City, Missouri, to then meet a kid from Southwest Kansas who loves horror, loves film, and after our conversation last night, will next time they have a production, they're going to keep me in mind, and I want to work with these people because they are so much fun, and I could imagine working with them too, and being able to talk about some fun things that happened to them on set and sharing war stories of fun things on set. If this Gabe Spencer's listening to this, we remember making Get Out and having an actress who was afraid of drowning and having pretty pinnacle scene of where we're supposed to drown her in a bathtub. So, yeah, we both understand what it's like to have fun, not big struggles, not anything that was like bad, but have these fun, silly circumstances come up in a shoot where you think everything is going to go right, and then just moving past that and then being able to laugh and have a story to it. So, talking to these people makes me want to work with him, and I hope they keep me in mind. And I know I'll keep in contact because, like I've teased a little bit, Chris will be on this podcast eventually. We're it's in the works, and let's just get into that right now. So, Chris. So, firstly, let me take a step back. For those who know me, I love board games. I am a board game fan, and let me tease this that's happening in the future. And I'll call out its whatever I need to call out. But I love board games, and I love horror, and I love horror board games. I'm going to be making videos titled Tabletop Terror that will be on the YouTube channel of me and my friends playing these board games and these horror board games and things like that, just to add more fun for people want who like this whole horror realm. So look forward to that in the future. But Chris he's in the middle of making a board game. It's called Muse. Um, let me pull up the website. But the idea of the game is it makes movies as you play. And I can give a basic rundown of how the rules work. We played around, and man, oh man, was it fun. I will link it in the description of this podcast and on the YouTube audiogram. I will link it because if you like board games and you want to support filmmakers in their endeavors, this is up your alley. But the basic idea of the game is that there's these 5 colored die that correspond with these cards, and you start by rolling all the die, and say you have like your yellow card is 5. So then you get 5 characters. Your blue card is story. Then you have like 4 or whatever story cards. But you develop this movie, this whole entire script in like an hour with your friends, and it's really designed to get people out of writer's block or to just kind of show how easy it is to come up with these fun ideas. And this is perfectly up my alley. I know in the future we will, for a bonus episode, we will play around. And I'm asking that already, if this interests you, check the description and go to this website and maybe sign up for the email list. I'm on there. But it is so simple. It's such a simple game that I could see so many applications. Like I would love this is a little like this is how I fell in love with it because I'm trying to make more content for you guys. Is I would love to play around and then the movie that we develop, we shoot it. Me and my friends shoot it. Or we maybe it's so good that I secretly don't publish the episode and then I make a script and then you guys get to see something that I make eventually. This is the idea of the game. It's just to help inspire and it's to be a companion tool to making media and f- being creative. But in the future, like I've said, um, we will have Mr. Chris come on and we will talk to him about the game and we'll play around. I know that video is going to be a little weird. It won't be in person. It'll be over the phone because they're from Alabama. But I can't wait to do something like that and to broaden my connections into this medium and get to meet more and more people because like behind the scenes I started this podcast and if you're a fan you understand with my friends from film school at my last school. Well, I'm gone and now I'm alone here. And I don't mean that I'm not sad or anything. They are doing wonderful things. I'm doing wonderful things. But if the reason why you're only hearing my voice is because I'm doing this alone right now. Um, so in the future, I want to be able to work with these other individuals and make a more engaging and more fun podcast for you guys to listen to. Because if I was able to give any of these people I've talked about today, if I was to sum up even 15 seconds of the fun conversations I was able to have with them, you'd be sold. So I hope in the future to be able to bring people on and be able to interview them or just talk mad shit about a movie that we might both enjoy. Like talking to Joe Lynch about High School Musical. Like that happened. Or being able to talk to the horror virgin, Mikey, let me Mikey from the horror virgin. Um talk to him about what did you think about this? Or being able to look at him and be like, "Hey, I'm so thankful that I found your guys' podcast. Like, you motivated me." And just being able to have that conversation with somebody and then a witness a human interaction is just so much fun. And I want to do this through this medium in the future. And I know um, after a little bit, I'll talk about what the month of May is going to look like because it's going to be a little hectic, but I have big plans and I'm excited for the month of May. But there's a couple more groups I want to talk about and then we'll wrap it up. I say it was going to be a shorter episode, but it looks like we're probably going to run right on time, and that's perfectly fine. But over this break too, I was fortunate to meet up with this another group of podcasters both of them called Junkhead Media. I'll link them in the description. They talk about everything media. They're so cool. Mr. Stephen King, not the Stephen King, spelled differently, but I think it's with a V instead of PH or the opposite. But we'll have him on the podcast for sure. I am not. I am serious. I'm deadly serious. This motherfucker is funny as shit. He's so cool, and I want to have him on, and he will be on, or I will have to bury my head in the sand and cry. So, Steve, if you're listening to this, shoot me a message. Let's work. Let's do something. He will. And we will. But another one I was able to meet was Nightmare Junkhead, which is a another Kansas City based horror horror podcast, and they host at Screenland Armory, which I'm going to start going to because now that I live in the area to Panic Fest instead of living 5 hours away. Every Friday at Screenland Armor, if you're a Kansas City native and you love horror movies, they host a screening of anything from 80s to modern horror and then they have a podcast afterwards. It's a Q&A. Now it's starting to get more and more where there's fun games, there's prizes, there's it's just more fun. And if you're interested in that, you start now. You can go. I'll link them as well. Everybody I talk about, I'm gonna link in the description. If you're interested in more of their work. But man, I had such a fun weekend. It was so incredible. Um, Real quickly, let's talk about the schedules. There's one more episode next week. You'll get another episode. I'm thinking of doing. I don't know. Sorry, I've just been so busy with having so much fun, and I know that's a terrible excuse, but you will get another episode, a random episode next week. Maybe it's an interview, maybe it's a movie. Um, we will have to we'll learn as we go. But in the month of May, I want to do a theme month. I want to start doing months in this podcast series that are themed. So in May, we're going to do Monster May. And we're going to start that with An American Werewolf in London. And I'll have on my friend Jonathan Jackson. We just call him John Jack. His name's not Jonathan Jackson. But we'll have a guest that we both love this movie. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm thinking after that, running through the like horror gauntlet. So maybe I'll do Dracula. I've done a werewolf. It's not the werewolf. But then I'll do like The Invisible Man. And I want to end the month with Monster Squad, one of my favorite movies ever. And I won a prize this past weekend because Nightmare Junkhead hosts this thing called the Game of Games, where it's this horror trivia, really, really fun prize event. And it's like one of the things they did was, which I'd love to do this for a podcast. It'd be so much fun. Um, they showed the beginning of a clip from a movie, like a quotable line, and they paused it, and then they asked, "What's my line?" and you have to finish. But they showed the a scene from Monster Squad where they're like, "Kick the wereman in the balls, kick him in the balls," and then he does, and then they're like, "What's my line?" and I go, "I think this is the exact word for it, but it's wereman has nards." So that re-sparked my love for Monster Squad. By then I should be back home, and um, I know in the next couple of weeks, audio hopefully is going to get a lot better. I say a lot. It's going to be difficult because I'll be finishing up my semester at college while also moving away from this lovely Lawrence Public Library podcast suite. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this over the summer when I go home because I'm going to spend the summer working, making some money so that I can buy new equipment. I can get a camera so I can start making visual content for you guys and do it on my own time. So be a little bit faster and better and more enjoyable. So that's something to look forward to. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow me at Survive the Haunt at Instagram if you're new. I hope if you're new, you'll stick around for the next couple episodes before you maybe realize that, oh, this dude's kind of stinky. Let's just move on. So, if you're new and you are hearing about me because of this Panic Fest, send me a message. I want to talk. Let's reminisce about how much fun it is, and maybe you can come on to the podcast. I'm always looking for guests. There's no type of qualifications required to be a guest on Survive the Haunt except for, do you like horror movies and do you hate it when a character dies in a stupid way? That's if you can do one of those two things, you are a guest. You are welcome. You are a survivor. That's what I call you guys. You guys are survivors. Welcome survivors to Survive the Haunt. So, if any of this is interest to you and you're new here, welcome. I love you guys. I love doing this and I want it to be better. I want it to be something that you guys want to do and something you'd be proud of. So, just to wrap things up, I love you. I seriously do. Goodbye.